Hi guys, I wanted to share my story a little bit about the injury that I received a couple months ago, and to talk about really my experience with Botox, as well as kind of all my other diagnoses that I've been diagnosed with since I fell. I fell back in February, so roughly about 8 months ago. I was getting out of the car and it was a snowy day. It was actually during an ice storm, and I was getting out of the car and I kind of took one foot outside and I slipped and I fell and I hit the back of my head. I didn't black out. I just kind of got up a couple minutes later. I thought I was fine, was more worried about my elbow and my bottom because that's where I felt like I really fell. I started to go back to work. It was 2 hours in, and then I felt like I couldn't concentrate. It was really hard for me to speak. I felt so off with this huge migraine. And then I work in a hospital, so they took me down to the ER and they told me I had a concussion. So I never had anything like that. I was like, okay. They sent me home for 2 days, and then I had to go back to work. So I eventually went back to work. It had been 5 days after my fall, and 5 days later, I started that. I felt like I couldn't concentrate. I had slurred speech. I could barely even walk. It was just really difficult for me to even say what was going on with me. And then my face started to droop, and my eye actually started to shut. And by the time that I got into the ER, my coworkers took me down there. My eye had been shut. They did a bunch of tests, and they basically said that this was all symptoms from my concussion that I had a couple days ago, which is crazy to me, but I'm just like, okay. So it took about 4.5, maybe 5 days for my eye to open back up, but I still wasn't feeling my best. And then literally a week later, the same thing happened to me again, but probably like twice as worse. So at that ER visit, they basically told me I had something called cranial nerve palsy. So I had basically damaged, when I fell, I damaged the nerve in my mouth and my eye, which is the third cranial nerve, I believe so. And they just said, I have to see a neurologist, blah, 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 therapy. It took about 4.5 months for my eye to open and for my face to get back to normal, I would say. It was very difficult until one of the neurologists had suggested that I would start Botox. And that was kind of weird. You see people doing Botox and it's kind of more cosmetic, as in for the fine lines, for the wrinkles, blah, blah, blah. And for me to get Botox at this age, I mean, not that I wanted it, but they said it was going to help me. So I'm just like, okay. So I had my first treatment probably, I want to say almost 6 months ago. And that really helped my eye open. I can insert some pictures and show you guys what a huge difference my face had turned. My face was kind of like this. It was very tight. My eye had been shut, and my mouth was I wouldn't say droopy. It is droopy, but kind of like this in a way. So I would talk like that. And it was rough. They kind of just did one injection on this eye here. I mean, a whole set, I should say. So I had a probably around 5 or 6 injections in my eye. It didn't hurt. I didn't really feel it because at that point in my face, I still couldn't really feel much on my whole left side. So they did the injections, and within like a couple of days, they told me that hopefully I would see some results. So I stayed patient. I did end up getting a black eye, like how they would say, and they said some of the side effects were that I wasn't going to be able to swallow, or that I would have to think when I would have to swallow, which was kind of weird. But I'm just like, okay, never experienced that. And within probably like 3-4 days, my eye had opened, and it was a huge relief for me. Like, to go from 4.5 months of my eye being shut, not being able to see, not being able to drive, not being able to work, That was amazing. That was seriously like a miracle to me. Then they would say that I would do my injections every 3 months. So actually about a month ago, I just received my second treatment, and this time they wanted to do injections on my left eye and on my right eye and my face. I developed this thing with the cranial palsy called hemifacial spasms. Sorry. And and with the spasms, they were kind of like little tremors like this. So they would go in different parts of my body, which is weird because it would go more to my right side, even though my left side was affected. So I would go more to my right side, and they would kind of just like go like this, and my eyelids would kind of like freak out in a way. It was very uncomfortable, and I felt like I couldn't do much. I would get them a lot. I get them probably like 3 or 4 times a day. Some of them are overwhelming, some of them I can handle, and some of them aren't that bad. I've gotten used to them. I've had them for a couple months now. So they say that the Botox would help not only open my eye, but to focus more the attention on this side of my face. That's why they did the injections on this side to kind of help with my spasms. They had suggested to do the injections on both sides of my face because they said that when you receive Botox, it weakens your muscles. So they didn't want my smile to be crooked, so they basically did it on both sides. So yeah, I can feel that tension. My right eye opened a lot more. My right eye was fine, but I felt like it had been holding all the weight for so long of my vision that my eye actually wasn't as normal as how it usually had been. Sorry. So they did injections on this. They did injections on my affected side, which is my left side, and both sides of my face. They did it above my nose, above my eyebrow, kind of roughly the areas where I get the spasms. And I can tell you that it made a huge difference in my eyes. My eyes so much bigger, but my smile is very constricted. I can just show you guys. It's basically this. It may not look that bad, but I have a very bright, big smile, and yeah, that kind of affected me after working with my mouth for so long to get it kind of back to normal, even though sometimes it pockets in a way. That was kind of rough for me, and I'm going for my second treatment in November, so we'll see. I still don't have vision with the cranial palsy. It really suppressed my vision on my left side. So I did go see an eye doctor, and they basically told me that it was a neuro-ophthalmologist because I couldn't see anybody else with the condition that I had. And they said that it would roughly take about a year for my vision to come back. So it's been really rough. My eyes do look better, but I still can only see on my right side. So I haven't been driving, I haven't been working, and it's been really rough. But if any of you guys ever experience anything like this, or maybe know a little bit more information on how to help, or maybe I can help you guys, yeah, just message me or comment down below in the comments and see how we can help each other out. So just wanted to give you guys my story. My Botox really has helped me, but it's really kind of, I feel like, slowed down my process a bit. As you can see, my right eyebrow, I can move it. It moves a lot higher than my left. And my left, I can't. So I really still don't have much, I don't know what to call it, much strength, much feeling in this side of my face, and I can't really control it. So as you can see, like, my right side moves a lot, but my left side does in a way, but not as much as my right. So still focusing on that, still working on that in therapy. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions about the Botox. It has helped me in a way, but at the same time, it's kind of slowed down my process. I know it takes time. Healing takes time. Have to be patient. But yeah, thank you guys so much.